Now, from a nondescript server room in a top-secret location in Southern California, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-637-3888. And if you are listening on Christmas Eve, I'm going to tell you right now, NORAD is tracking the big guy. Yes, they are tracking Santa. And this is of course, just a regular thing that they do every year. Actually, that all started, it was a matter of somebody dialed the wrong number or something like that, and the guys at NORAD chimed in, and they helped out some young kid, and it's been a legend ever since. So, coming up later on this hour, I'm going to talk some expensive gifts. It's Christmas Eve. You're not going to dash out and buy any of this stuff, but you should know it exists because you can tell somebody what you were planning on buying them. Tongue-in-cheek, of course. I'm going to talk about a little bit of last-minute Christmas. We're going to talk about Rogue One, which I have not seen yet. I'm hoping to see it this weekend. And I'm going to end off the show, no matter how you listen to the show, whether you're listening to it on a commercial station, a religious station, any of that, non-commercial, some public radio stations. I have a tech plea for you for Christmas. We're going to end off this week's show with that. But first, let's go into the news before we start getting just kind of goofy and fun. Galaxy Note 7. Yeah, the Samsung Note 7, it keeps catching on fire. They've recalled them. They've got 93% of them in the United States have been turned in, but they're going to be turned off. But there's been an interesting little twist. Apparently, they've done some surveys, and people would rather use the Note 7, which can catch on fire. They would rather use that than switch to an LG phone. Yeah, that's right. They do not want to switch to an LG phone. Wow, that just amazes me. And that was the big, huge thing that came out. A lot of people were amazed by this survey that just blasted LG. So, there are a number of options out there, and we'll see how that all unfolds over the course of the coming year. Because it's no longer the rest of this year. One of the big, huge things that came out just recently was that Facebook is going to use some fact checkers to determine whether something is, fake news. Edward Snowden, you may be familiar with that name. He has basically come out. Do not rely on a referee to censor fake news. He's got a very good point in here, this entire concept. Quote, the answer to bad speech is not censorship. The answer to bad speech is more speech. And I like this. This entire concept of us relying on particular gatekeepers has these distinct shades of 1984. I forget if I mentioned this last week, but this entire concept out there that there are these people that are going to decide whether or not the news is fake or real. What are the organizations? Snopes. Okay, Snopes.com is really good in the non-tech world. However, in the tech world. But when we start talking politics, they are distinctly on one particular political side. So is factcheck.org. So is PolitiFact. So is ABC News. Those are the quote-unquote third-party fact checkers. There are all kinds of different options out there, but we're going to start seeing, if you go and you look, there has been a lot of these different fact checkers, and I'm going to say this, it's on both sides of the aisle. A matter of there are fact checkers that say, oh, Hillary told this lie and Hillary told that lie, and then Donald over on the other side, Donald told that lie and Donald told that lie and Donald told that lie. And the reality is these are competing political discussions. So I am really uncomfortable with any kind of censorship, any kind of forced fact checking. We can read through and we can do the research on our own. If we want to use Snopes, factcheck.org, PolitiFact, ABC News, or any of the others, that's up to us. That's not up to the person who is sending this to us. Lawmakers in South Carolina are basically going to change all kinds of different things in regards to computers. They are basically putting together a human trafficking prevention act that would have manufacturers or sellers of computers or really anything that accesses the internet put in special digital blocks that would prevent the viewing of inappropriate content. That's the kind of a phrase I use around here. You probably have the idea of what that means. This filter, removing it, would cost the end user $20. And they're also talking about basically this plan would require any manufacturer or seller who didn't want to install the systems to pay a $20 fee per system to the state of South Carolina. This is a money-making venture. This is all kinds of revenue for the state of South Carolina. And this is going to, well, it sounds good. It sounds like a nice, neat little plan to solve what is a problem out there. It is a problem. However, we also run into the problem of who is defining this. We go back to that discussion I had just a moment ago of who is defining what is fact and what is not fact? Who is determining what is fake news and what is not fake news? Who's determining what is inappropriate and what is appropriate content? And this is kind of a creepy just journey down this entire erosion of the First Amendment. Look, I understand if you want to install this software, there's software available out there for all kinds of different people. Basically, there's software out there if you want to screen it for your kids. There's software out there if you want to screen it from yourself. There is a wonderfully free program out there that exists that will notify. This is for accountability people. It'll notify your spouse if you go to a bad website. It'll notify your best friend who is your confidant, and it will allow a conversation to exist. And I think that's a better route to encourage this, because if we do these things voluntarily, we will be far more successful than if they are foisted upon us. That's just my approach to it. Yours may be different, but that's fine. Youth these days that are connecting up on social media, they're noticing that they're less satisfied with what real life is. They are running into all kinds of problems. There's this dream, this delusion that is being presented through social media. And this comes in all kinds of different directions, a matter of whether or not we're talking about their jobs, or whether or not we're talking about their friend life, their eventual love life, whatever it is. And we're starting to wonder if perhaps this millennial disillusion, no offense to any millennials who are listening, but there's this general concept that the millennials just aren't making it. They've been told a lie. They've been provided a lie. And as a matter of fact, we're finding that youth are becoming addicted to these same technologies to the level of somebody actually referred to it in a recent article as digital heroin. And they actually checked a couple of different things. They found out that the addiction is heavily real. I'll talk a little bit about this in the second hour of, yes, this program, Computer Talk Radio. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. I am a computer nerd, and as such, I have a little bit more money than the normal person does, but not a whole lot. So I wanted to cover some gift ideas for people who, well, they need the more expensive things in your life. Yeah, the people in your life, I should say, that need the more expensive. Yeah, whatever. You get the idea. It's Christmas Eve. You're not shopping right now. And if you're not shopping right now, I mean, I hope you're not shopping right now. It's one of those things where, okay, there's only so much you're going to find here at the last minute. So I thought I'd have fun. I thought I would go through some of the things that actually look kind of cool, or, well, maybe not so. I don't know. There's a set of headphones. Okay, I wear expensive headphones. Compared to most people. I wear a set of Sony headphones that basically I spent a long time picking them out. A long time ago. Today, I think they're probably about the equivalent of about $300 headphones. But that's $300 headphones that have absolutely zero basis on their brand name. I'm not gonna cast aspersions on any of these other brands out there that they're based off of the brand name versus the quality of the headphones. There is a company out there called Grado, Grado, and I would like a set of their headphones at some point in time in my life, or at least a chance to listen to them. I understand that they are some of the most amazing headphones out there. They are made by hand in New York City, and that just boggles my mind in itself. The PS1000E, this guy runs about $1,700. And then you tack on a little bit more money if you want a special stand or a storage box or something like that. So we're talking some seriously amazing headphones. But I understand they're worth it. But let's take that even a step further, and let's look at Sennheiser. They have something called the HE1, which is also referred to as the Orpheus, and that runs $50,000. 50,000. They no longer say $49,995. They just flat out, it's $50,000. There are other things out there. For instance, the top-of-the-line consumer drone. Now, mind you, people are buying drones these days, but they're usually buying the drones that run $100 or $200 or even $500. DJI has a $6,000 drone. Now, this $6,000 drone, the Inspire 2, has a number of different features. This is really the top end of the personal drone space. Even then, I would almost consider that with the 4K camera, the whole idea of, well, it's processing that imagery in RAW, and this thing goes from 0 to 50 in 5 seconds. This is quite an amazing drone. This is almost professional level drones. Although professional-level drones typically will carry your DSLR camera, an actual movie camera. So we're talking, even still, something that is almost insane. There's a lot of carbon fiber involved with this one, so it's kind of understandable as far as what they're doing. Now, Mont Blanc has been doing something. They've actually had this out for a few years. Let's say that you do not want to you want a nice smartwatch. Yeah, Mont Blanc, they're known for their bands. Well, they're also apparently a watch manufacturer. And, well, they do a number of different watches, and their watches are, well, we'll just say, not inexpensive. These things are thousands of dollars, but they have something called an E-strap. And this is actually kind of neat. It puts your smart watch concept on the wristband. So you can actually change the entire top watch and just deal with whatever it is that you want on the wrist, the smart part of it, on your wrist. You flip your wrist over, and you look basically at the palm of your hand, and right there where the watch band is, that's where it's at. My only concern is that's usually the part of my watch that gets scratched up the most. How much does it run? Well, it was a little bit difficult to find the pricing because the Mont Blanc watches run $3,000 to $5,000. But I finally figured it out that the E-strap itself, the E-strap itself is roughly about $350 to $400. At which point, maybe we are looking at going and getting, the Apple Watch. Oh, well. You can always get somebody, yes, an IMAX home theater or, here's the thing. The entire concept of a home theater is something that most people don't have. So we'll even skip by that. But you can spend quite a chunk of change depending on how many people you're having seating for, and the entire concept of the what amount of stuff you're going to do into that. But there are companies out there that specialize in putting together these theaters, and the price just goes up and up and up. But I also came across something else that was very interesting, and that is something called the Deep Flight Dragon. This is something that is for people who have yachts, and we're talking the big yachts. They now also can have their own nice little submarine. Yeah, that's right, a submarine. And I laughed at this, but I said, actually, that's actually kind of cool. Now, compared to the super yacht, which is going to run, a matter of $50 or $100 million, this nice little submarine is only about $1.5 million. Okay, all right, maybe that's just outside of your entire price range, but maybe you want something that's unique. Something that's named for Lenny Kravitz. Now, I should explain. Lenny Kravitz, the young man who is definitely known for a number of great songs. He also, but I'm going to mention two things. One is that he is the nephew of the now deceased Lenny Kravitz, who was a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, but also Lenny Kravitz is seriously into photography. There's a company called Leica, Leica, and they have a digital camera, 24 megapixel camera that has all kinds of bells and whistles and so forth, and they're running this camera basically with Lenny Kravitz's name on it, and all chosen basically by him. It's designed for him and so forth. They're making 125 of these, and they're going for $25,000. $25,000. This is amazing. Well, yeah, this is of course kind of the dreamer category. This is something that I would like to see one of those one day, but I'd be more interested in meeting, yes, Lenny Kravitz, which probably won't be anywhere near that price. This is Benjamin Rockwell. We're going to be back with more Computer Talk Radio in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373-888. One of my more favorite Christmas songs is called Christmas Wrapping, and it is by the Waitresses. It's been around since 1981. And I don't know why. I like it, and it's kind of funny. We go through this entire this story where she's basically a busy single woman, and she's just going through crazy stuff. She's gonna miss this Christmas this year, and she's spent the entire time throughout the year trying to meet up with this particular man, and basically she keeps failing on going through with that first initial date. And then she basically meets him in the convenience store. I don't know why that came to mind other than the whole convenience store thing. The whole idea of going to 7-Eleven in the middle of the night. Oh, okay, I guess she was looking for cranberries. And this entire concept of going to your local 7-Eleven or AM/PM mini market or whatever it is that you have on Christmas Eve, it finds its way into various stories in everybody's lives. I will tell you, I am one of the few people I know that I've heard all kinds of people tell me their stories. As a matter of fact, my senior pastor at church, he talks about just the inevitable of forgetting one of the types of batteries that he needs for the toys for his kids. As a matter of fact, right now, I'm going to remind you, do you have enough batteries? Do you have enough of everything that you need? Yeah, I know this may not be, you may not be listening to this, at midnight. Hopefully you're listening to this during the daytime. You're not wrapping the Christmas presents and realizing, oh, hey, I forgot to get some of those 9-volt batteries. Because, 7-Eleven, they should be making a killing. They should be like, oh, yeah, they were, that 9-volt battery was $1.99 earlier today, but, it's 3 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. We're charging you $19.99. It's one of those things where I guess we should all be appreciative of the fact that 7-Eleven doesn't operate just from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., but actually all day and all night long. So I want to remind you right now, I want you to think about this. What are some of the things that you might have forgotten? What are some of the things that you really might have left behind? And there are so many things. I think we mentioned this already, but the number one day for batteries, for battery purchases, is December 26th. Yeah, the day after Christmas. And we're starting to see a number of spikes in the cases, the screen protectors, the various extra cables, and things like that. All of the accessories to our technology items, they all spark just right up high on the list of things that are being sold in the days after Christmas. Hi, yes, I want to return this, but yes, I'm going to be buying a case of D cells or whatever it is. It is absolutely amazing to me that that people forget these things. Except, you know what? I've forgotten some of the minor accessories. I have gone through and I have forgotten to pick up cases and in things like that. Never batteries. Usually these days I am drowning in cords. I have, and I'm just going to look here at the studio. I'm in my studio, and there is an iPhone cord there with a lightning plug. There's an iPhone cord there with a lightning plug. That one over there is a 30-pin that goes to my iPad. Yeah, I've got an older iPad. I have, let's see here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 various micro and mini USB cables here. So fortunately, I can just wander into the studio and grab whatever it is I need for those cables. But can you do that? Can you put your hands immediately somewhere in your house on these important cables? I'll tell you, buying them at 7-Eleven, bad idea. These are basically going to be marked up to full regular price, but these are going to also be the cheapest cables you can buy, typically. 7-Eleven is not known for their technological proficiency, their grand just knowledge of technology, except when it comes to running the Slurpee machines. Let's go through some of the other items that you might need. Of course, the micro SD cards, the SD cards. These are key items to have on hand. Whatever different kind of wall adapters, because I'll tell you, the wall warts, as much as we would love to get rid of them, as much as we would like to see them just disappear, especially my wife, she hates them. So we kind of hide them on power strips out of the way. Actually, usually they're these days they're usually plugged into battery backups instead of the surge suppressing power strips. And yeah, that's another one too. The big huge classic of your surge suppressing power strip. These are all key elements that you should have. I know I covered some of this before, just in a matter of a couple of weeks ago, but this is, of course, your last-minute reminder before all the stores close, and you have to wind up getting it at 7-Eleven at 3 o'clock in the morning, or worse, the worst time of all, 4 o'clock in the morning. This is Benjamin Rockwell. Keith M. Sedor joins me next here on Computer Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website.
ComputerTalkRadio.com. ComputerTalkRadio.com.
This is where I'm supposed to say this.
Sedor, and yes, of course, this is Computer Talk Radio with the nerd Benjamin Rockwell.
Right.
However, this is far, far too important of a segment to just leave to somebody who has not taken the impetus to see Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Oh,
on
man.
opening weekend.
That is vicious. You know where I was? Actually, let me tell you where I was.
I still love you like a brother, Benjamin.
I was in church. I was in church the entire weekend.
God would forgive you, okay?
Oh, no, he wouldn't, because nobody else could run the entire pageant production that we had.
Really? Because I don't believe that there were any acoustics in a manger 2,000 some odd years ago other than the rustling of hay as our little Lord Jesus rests his tiny little head. But
okay, you've got a point, and we'll talk about that at the close of the show.
And miracle births notwithstanding, since we're not talking about Anakin Skywalker in this particular feature.
Yes.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, hands down the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
Now,
okay.
You and I, yes, very, very true. And I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, Rogue One was so good.
Wait.
Actually makes up for the travesty that was the prequel trilogy.
You mean there's no Jar Jar Binks?
Let's put it this way, Benjamin. There is such tight continuity here.
Yeah.
And this is why I have been posting for a month prior to the release of the motion picture that people should be reading the James Luceno Star Wars novel, Catalyst, a Rogue One story, because this sets up the backstory of all of the major characters that we meet in Rogue One. And having completed the book, I can tell you that the book ends in the exact location where the movie begins. And
Nice.
it's very important. You will understand these characters and the interweavings of their relationship with a greater degree of clarity and depth of understanding if you read this book first. Now, can you see this movie without it? Yes, of course. But I promise you, if you are a diehard Star Wars fan, you will get so much more out of this movie if you read Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, before you see the movie.
Okay,
and
so it's a Rogue One novel.
Yes. I literally finished the last 2 pages of the book in the theater as the lights were going down.
All right, so now let me ask you.
Yes.
When did you see it? Did you see it opening night?
Opening weekend.
Opening weekend. All right. So
we were
there Thursday night at like
we were taking our
11
children
getting into
on
line. Okay.
We were taking our children on the Polar Express, which my wife had tickets for us months in advance. Tickets for Polar Express actually go on sale in the summer. So it was an actual train ride based on the book and the movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. Definitely for kids, but it was a lot of fun. So, but I did buy tickets for the following day, the minute those tickets went on sale in November. And what's great is the theaters now all have assigned seating with these gorgeous recliner seats.
Oh, nice.
So there is no more waiting in a ridiculous line for hours on end to make sure you get a decent seat to see these movies.
So you were dead center. And how far back? Halfway back?
Pretty much center of the theater.
Center of the theater.
And
nice.
We were nicely situated. But one of the things I really have to tell you, there is such tight continuity because this movie is bookended. And I do mean bookended by Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, and Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. I mean, you could literally finish watching Rogue One and go immediately into the original Star Wars without missing a beat. I mean, the tightness between the end of Rogue One and the beginning of the original Star Wars is tighter than any other Star Wars movie produced so far.
Nice. Well, okay, but we do have to recognize that this was made by people who were obsessed with the original Star Wars. And
True.
And they had a passion for it that far exceeded Lucas's passion for it.
Well, one of the things I can tell you, Benjamin, and I just discovered this in an article I read.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into too many details because I know a lot of our listeners haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But I can tell you there is some overlap in some of the characters towards the end of the movie in a rather climactic sequence. And Gareth Edwards found unused cuts of the original actors in the Death Star sequence.
Oh,
so there is footage of actors who have long since passed who have been incorporated into Rogue One.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just a frame-for-frame rehash of stuff we've seen on screen. These are takes and bits that are completely fresh. And there's so many little Easter eggs for the diehard fans that you will walk away from this movie, Benjamin, going, wow, he was not even remotely exaggerating. This is the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back.
Well, it is my plan to see the movie this weekend. I'm afraid I won't be able to read Catalyst, but I expect that I will go back and read that at some point.
And then I want to discuss a spoiler-filled version of this conversation.
Oh, wow. We'll have to save that for the Nerdcast.
Definitely.
All right. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas.
I'll be back with more in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. Technology gives us so many cool things, so many great things that make our lives easier. I will put forth one of the greatest inventions, not for us, but for actually the vendors, the suppliers, the various places we shop and so forth. This entire gift to them is this thing called automatic bill pay. Okay, I like having options, and it's great that we can have our bills done automatically over the web without having to remember to pay them. I mean, it's much easier for me to have it automatically pay than for me to sit down with a checkbook. All right, how many of you even have checkbooks these days? But we can sit down with a checkbook. We can mail it in. We can file it electronically. We can go in person or whatever. And we can also, I mean, there's so many different options. But the idea of automatic bill pay, where it takes absolutely no action on our part, this is the thing that worries me. This is the thing that concerns me here. When you're paying your bills, you know how much you are paying. You know how much you've been paid. You have the ability to do your budget. You balance your budget. But if it's an automatic thing, things start to disappear. The idea of how much money you make, how much money you're spending kind of goes away. A friend of mine was overcharged for her cell phone bill by $100. I want you to think about your cell phone bill and it being instantly $100 more. That happened for 3 months in a row. Now, had she been paying manually, she would have noticed. Additionally, she had given the company the right to take the money from her account. She said, go ahead, just take it. Automatic bill pay. It'll be much easier for me to handle it. And you guys will never do anything wrong, of course. No, actually, it became much harder for her to fight that. It became a much longer conversation where things got ugly and, well, not all that ugly, but it took up some time. I mean, it doesn't mean that automated payments are always going to be a bad thing. But even concepts like, okay, so your house bill, your mortgage, maybe that's okay. I mean, maybe, but that can change. I'll tell you from personal experience, that's changed on me. My cable bill, that's gone up over the course of 2 years. They've added on another $70 bit by bit, $10 here for a few months, and then another $10. And yeah, I had to have a conversation with them, and they said, oh yeah, it's all legit, and they figure that I'm not going to argue it, but yeah, I did. With these bills that change all the way along, it's easy for you to see how much you're being charged. You should be checking them. You should be going through and making sure that everything is fine. Otherwise, it's like sending that company a blank check and letting them fill it out, letting them decide how much you're going to pay this month. And maybe that isn't such a grand idea after all. But then again, that's just me, little old me, Benjamin Rockwell of Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Can't find out what to buy at the computer store? Benjamin Rockwell's got the answer. And now, with the quest of enriching your experience with computers, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373, 888. The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. This particular topic here that I'm going to cover for the next few minutes or so is a key topic for a lot of people, and this is one of those situations where I'm going to tell you straight up front, this is not going to help you with every single situation out there. It's not going to help you with all of the various ideas that may exist in the minds of Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and the rest. However, it's going to help you with protecting yourself from people you know and some of the ne'er-do-wells who are truly ne'er-do-wells out there on the internet. And what is that? It is a number of different things to make sure that nobody is spying on you, to make sure that nobody is following all of the things that you do with your computer. It is one of those situations which we cross this line on a regular basis. We go on out and we Google different things on the internet, and Google keeps a log of those. We comment on various things on Facebook. And when you're on Facebook, Facebook actually keeps track of everything that you don't post too. But yeah, you're typing in stuff and it translates it and it starts tracking it and it monitors even the stuff you don't post. But we're moving beyond this. We're moving beyond the Microsoft stuff into the sheer simple realm of checking your computer for the not so obvious stuff. All right. First and foremost, running malware scans. Malwarebytes is a very ideal program. You also want to run a virus scan. Now, just because you find viruses, just because you find malware, does not mean that, yes, your ex is stalking you. Not to any great extent. It is most likely just stuff that's already shown up there. It's stuff that has existed there for quite a while, usually. Now, here's the thing. You want to run, again, the anti-malware scan, the antivirus scan, and search the entire drive. And you just clean it up. Just wipe out all of the different viruses, all of the different malware things that it finds. Okay, it's going to say these are tracking cookies. Yeah, okay. Remove the tracking cookies if you want. We've since found out, we talk about cookies. I'm going to, just a little sidebar here. We talk about cookies a lot in the industry. We've told people for ages, get rid of the cookies. Their potential vulnerabilities. The funny thing is, other than the proof of concept, other than the idea of somebody can use it, we have no registered violations of information in regards to those cookies out there, ever. This idea that somebody's going to get your deepest, darkest secrets by reading the cookies just hasn't come to fruition. Yes, you may go to site A, and then you go to site B, and all of a sudden you're getting ads for site A. You go to site C, and you're getting ads for site A. This is something that's not really being used negative. Well, it is being used to some extent negatively, but it's just a matter of the tracking cookies by the advertising companies that are doing this. So you go to site A, and site A has a deal, and so they exchange information. But that's a different story altogether. So you want to run that malware scan. That's first and foremost a big, huge deal there. The next item that I think people should really look at is going through and making sure their wireless router is truly secure. What do we mean by secure? You want to make sure that it's set to WPA encryption. Or technically, WPA2 is what you want. You don't want it on WPA. You don't want it on WEP. You also probably want to reset the password there. You may even decide you want to reset the entire router. Nothing wrong with that, but you go through and you follow the instructions on how to secure that particular router. I could sit here and I could go through all of the different settings on a Linksys or a Netgear or a Belkin router, but the reality is they're all very different. There's usually something at Belkin or Netgear or Linksys or whoever else that says this is the way to best lock down your router. If you're really concerned, that's definitely one thing to do. Look also in your system tray. That's that little thing down in the lower right-hand corner where the clock sits there. And there are different programs that might exist there. You want to do research on each of those different programs. These may not be malware. These may not be viruses. But I will tell you, I have a program that I use on a regular basis called TeamViewer. It allows me to remote control a system. If I set the settings right, nobody would find out. I don't set those settings like that. I use this to support you. It is very abundantly clear when we're going through and I'm supporting you, my listeners, that I am remote controlling the system, and I prep you for this and I make you aware of this. But there are ways for people to install software programs like that, like LogMeIn, like TeamViewer, like there's something called VNC. Is it VNC? Is that the right one, or is that the video codec? Yeah, that's the remote control connector. But it gives you an idea of places to look. Another thing you can do, and these next two are more of just kind of moving in a different direction of security. But and these are kind of those nuclear options, but they do exist. Okay, for starters, going through and cleaning up Windows. You can do a clean install. You can do, we used to call this a repair installation, and depending on your version of Windows, it may still be a repair install. But you're going through and you're basically resetting Windows to a certain condition. One of the things you can do with Windows 10 is reset it back to a nice secure state, or you can even set it back to it wipes out everything that's been installed, and it just puts Windows there for you. Nothing else. Just Windows. Just the bare bones basics. And then you have to reinstall everything. Now, that is, it is somewhat of a nuclear option. Buying a new computer is another nuclear option as well. But I'll tell you, usually when you're getting to these points, it's getting a little bit tinfoil hat. And again, not to knock tinfoil hat. There are times when I do bring out my own tinfoil hat. But that's beside the point. the last thing, which people don't always think about, and that is plain and simple unplugging computers from the internet. You know, I have a number of friends who have multiple computers in the house, and some of them go on the internet, and some of them do not. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are, you may have difficulties, like you can't all use the same printer, you can't all use the same network drives, but then again, maybe some things you do want to keep very secure, and some things, yeah, it's all right. Whoever gets a hold of it, well, they'll get not much of anything. And this is one of those things that you have to weigh these options out. You have to determine how aggressive you want to be with this. This is one of those things, if you want to discuss this with me, of course, go to computertalkradio.com, scroll down to the point where it says contact us, fill out the information. I will get back with you. I answer questions all the time in regards to a number of areas, and we will help you figure out if somebody is really, truly watching you. That is, of course, other than the NSA, other than the various government agencies, and the not-so-government agencies like Google and Facebook and Microsoft. And you get the idea. This is Benjamin Rockwell, of course, and you're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. A friend of mine has some serious concerns, some serious issues, and you might too. What is it? It's something. It's along the lines of internet addiction, and there's different subcomponents of internet addiction, whether we're talking about to inappropriate material online, to wanting to have the latest in news, and it's very easy to fall into that trap during various times of the year after certain events or leading up to certain events like election time or whatever else, holidays, all of that. And eBay shopping or Amazon shopping, you can be addicted to that too. And I wanted to give you some of the signs and the risks of being addicted to the internet. You're at greater risk of internet addiction if for some reason you suffer from anxiety. People who are addicted to the internet use the internet to distract themselves from worries and fears. Do you do this? This is one of those things where if you have an anxiety disorder, maybe obsessive compulsive disorder, you may find that this actually contributes to you excessively doing email checking and compulsive internet use. If you are checking your email on your smartphone all the time, if you can't sit through a movie or a TV show, even at home, without checking your internet or email, you may actually be addicted. And this can be something from even more than just anxiety. If you were depressed, the internet can be an escape from those feelings of depression. But I will tell you, too much time online is going to isolate you and actually can contribute to that loneliness and the depression, and it's not good. You need to be with people. That'll bring you out of any depression. The internet is not being with people, even if you're chatting online with a number of quote-unquote friends. If you have other addictions as well, if you're addicted to whether it's alcohol or gambling or drugs or whatever else, you may also have that same predisposition to seeking something to fill that emptiness that you think the internet will somehow fill. And if you lack social support, those internet addicts, they often use chat rooms or instant messaging or online gaming as a safe way of establishing new relationships and more confidently relating to others. But here's the thing, you're not fully relating to other people because you're not going to be honest. They're not going to be honest. It is very rare that people are in real life who they say they are on the internet. We've realized that Facebook accounts present a certain shiny side to our lives. It's very rare that they show the deep, dark side to our lives. And that means that any relationship there is built on falsehoods. And this is one of those things where, for various age groups, teenagers, they may be wondering where they fit in. And the internet may be a lot more comfortable than real-life friends. People going through midlife crises, people who are seniors that have entered into retirement, especially if they're less mobile, less socially active than they've been used to. Ideas like coping with disabilities or parenting young children can make it hard to leave the house or connect with old friends. A person who is addicted to the computer is likely to have several of the experiences and feelings that I'm about ready to describe. And how many of them really describe you? For instance, do you have mixed feelings of well-being and guilt while at the computer? Do you make efforts, unsuccessful efforts, to quit or limit your computer use? Do you lose track of time while on the computer? Do you neglect friends, family, or responsibilities in order to be on Facebook or wherever else? Do you find that you can't sit through an entire movie? You're sitting there, it's a movie, you're in the dark in the theater, and you're still checking online? Do you find yourself lying to your family or your boss or someone else about the amount of time that you've spent on the computer and what you do while on it? Do you feel anxious, depressed, or irritable when your computer time is shortened or interrupted? I mean, we get these internet outages once in a while. Does that kick you off? Does that just make you upset? Do you use the computer repeatedly as an outlet when you're sad or upset or for various forms of gratification? Do you have problems in school or on the job as a result of the time spent and the type of activities that you're accessing on the computer? When you're not on the computer, do you think about it frequently and anticipate when you will use it again? And I say computer throughout all of this, but this could be your smartphone. This could be your tablet. This could be any particular technology item out there. Look, there is no shame in any of this. I mean, you may feel shame for this. You may feel all kinds of guilt or different issues. But I will tell you right now that there are a lot of people who have these problems. We're seeing this increasing on a regular basis. People who would normally they would adapt and they'd be doing fine. Well, life is throwing us a lot of curveballs. There is a lot of temptation out there. There's so many different places to go on the internet. It isn't like it used to be. And when it used to be, I'm saying when it used to be like in the 1990s, mid-1990s, it was easy to get lost for hours on end on the internet. When I first encountered the internet, I wasn't addicted, but I found this wide world of all kinds of information. It was the information age, and everything I had questions about, I could access it immediately. I still could. It's grown since then. Now, I didn't find myself addicted, and I fortunately am able to break away quite easily, but I know people who can't. There's no shame in finding help, of going to, yes, you've heard of these Alcoholics Anonymous. So there's a variety of anonymous programs out there, 12-step programs to escape this kind of addiction. You can go for recovery in so many different forms. Even just researching this further, don't use the internet to research this. It's only gonna make things worse. Ask a pastor. Ask someone you know that is in a good mentorship role how to kick this habit. The problem with an addiction on the internet is that the internet does, as I've mentioned, pit the fantasy world against the real world. And much like any of the items that people become addicted to, the internet and your addiction there will shield you from problems. But usually those problems aren't going to go away on their own. Not usually. They never go away on their own. These problems must still be dealt with. You must still deal with them. Look, if you've got any of this, if this sounds too close to home, if this sounds too familiar for you or someone you know, if you have these problems, seek help, please. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. In the book of Matthew, it reads, "Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others." All right. It goes on. It says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. Do your giving in secret and all that. But part of what I'm going to tell you is not for any attention to me. It is not to any attention of my interaction here with an older gentleman by the name of Willie. I was exiting a burger joint, a famous one, In-N-Out Burger, which is all throughout the Southern California area, the Southwest. And I noticed that this man was particularly skinny, well, I asked him, when was the last time he ate? Actually, I said, have you eaten today? And he hadn't. So I went back in and I got him a good double cheeseburger and some fries and a soda. That's not the story, though. That's sort of to frame this. As I was sitting there, waiting for his food to be prepared, waiting for just that chance to feed this guy, I started thinking about a number of things. What do I talk with him about? And there are things that we did talk about, but one of the things that occurred to me was Willie, right here across from me, was completely out of touch with technology. He has no idea of what these smartphones are, this whole iPhone concept, or basic computing. He understood a little bit of what the internet is, but he hasn't had a chance to do computing in quite a while. He's been homeless for a long time. And I wondered just how many people we have across the country that are seriously far removed from modern technology. In one direction, that may be a blessing for some people, a matter of that ability to escape from many of the worries, many of the trials and tribulations that we have because we dropped our phone and we broke the screen. Now I'm being kind of facetious, actually. But there are troubles and tribulations that we have to go through with learning this stuff, with just growing as far as technology. And I realized that we hadn't really talked on this topic before. There was a gentleman a little while back, Patrick McConaughey. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. He taught a 37-year-old man by the name of Leo Grand how to write computer code. And that was an exciting thing. He went with his idea of, hey, I've been passing by you for months, and I've had this chance to see you, but I haven't done anything. And I'm wondering, I'll give you a choice. I can give you $100 cash, or I can give you a computer, and then I will sit with you every day and teach you how to write code, how to write computer programs, various games and other things. This Patrick guy, software engineer, and he did gaming programming. Well, lo and behold, that homeless man, Leo Grand, he took that opportunity to grow. I kind of feel ashamed. I fed a man. I didn't teach him how to fish. And maybe this is something that we all should be doing. We should all be thinking about the additional ways that we can help those around us. And it doesn't necessarily have to be homeless people. I started thinking about the people that are not so homeless. What are we doing in regards to computers for people who are in halfway houses? Homeless mothers. They're there. It's a woman, and they've got and she might have a child or a couple of children, and she's escaping an abusive relationship, and she's escaping with her clothes, the kids' clothes, and little else. What happens in those situations? What is it that we can do to help these young ladies grow, to better their lives, and to help them learn something, to get a sense of self-worth, of value, to just be a better person as far as in the world, as far as financially, as far as just business-wise and all of that, because they will be around for a long time. Who knows? There's a lot here. There's a number of different things that I don't have the answers for. At least none that are coming to me right away. Do I have a computer, a laptop that I could have given him? I've got desktop computers, but none of these have batteries in them. They're not like laptops. I've only got a couple of laptops. Yeah, I know, a couple of laptops. But the reality is one of those is actually out of my 3 laptops, only one of them is actually mine to give away. The other 2, one is my day job, and one is actually a MacBook on loan from a friend. So, I don't know. I want you to think about this. I want you to feel free to give me ideas. Go to computertalkradio.com and just fire off an email to me. Say, hey, Ben, what if we, as people, could get together and do this or that? Whatever it is, whatever your idea, I encourage it. Just, who knows? Maybe we could change a life. Maybe multiple lives. Who knows? But it takes all of us working together to determine the right thing to do. A lot of the ideas, the great ideas of helping people, don't come from the government and government programs and all kinds of different institutionalized ideas. Some of these ideas come from normal people, like you, like me, just standard, ordinary ideas to help other lives get better. Drop me a line at computertalkradio.com with whatever your ideas are, and we will cover this topic again sometime soon. We will go into further detail as far as some of the ideas that you have come up with to help other people. And until we do that, for right now, my name is Benjamin Rockwell, and you're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
ComputerTalkRadio.com is, of course, the place where you can contact us. You can find out little bits and pieces of what's going on. Around the corner, we may even be doing something with CES. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to be doing. That is, of course, if you're not aware, the Consumer Electronics Show that happens in Las Vegas every year. Steve Keske joins me now. And Steve, you're going to be going to CES with me, and we'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. Actually, let me pause. We started out the year at CES.
Yeah.
And it's been a year of stress otherwise. And I'm glad we're finally we're here at Christmas time. And it's that time to slow down. Well, for most people, it's the time to slow down. I imagine you are probably in the same position I am. You're probably deluged with emails from various companies that want you to see whatever it is, their new gadget, their new disability item, their new, I don't know. Are you getting any military items? Hey, come check out our big, huge electronic machine gun or whatever.
Nothing military yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, from last year's CES and all the people I met out there, I mean, I've been averaging 40 a day.
Ouch. Yeah, that's about the same place that I am.
Yeah.
I just every time I turn around and I'm going through and I'm preparing for CES. So, gift wise, I mean, we're here at Christmas Eve. Did you get any good, give out any good gifts? Get any good gifts? Yeah.
Somebody knew Santa Claus enough to get me a tablet.
A tablet. Okay, now you're legally blind. How are you handling the whole concept of a tablet?
It's a little difficult, but it's working out.
Now, my grandmother was legally blind, and what happened was if she got down close to it, she was able to figure out wording and stuff like that. Is that the same kind of situation for you?
Mostly, I did realize, and I did figure out how to double the size of the fonts.
Okay, good.
So I figured that one out.
Mm-hmm. What else came along in the tech world for you?
Oh, not too much other than that this year.
Well, you did get the new ears as well. Your new high-tech assistive listening devices. Is that what they call them these days?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my ears that I take out and charge every night. But yeah, and with the tablet now, I'll be able to download the app and do different things as far as, because they're all Bluetooth now.
Yeah. I remember you were mentioning something about that. So you get to kind of tweak things according to where you want a little bit more hearing or a little bit less. Tune out some of the background noise, turn up this, that, or the other thing. Okay.
Yeah, and it uses, the same kind of static as we used to see when we were kids. When I was a child, you turn on the TV set at 2 o'clock in the morning because there was nothing on, and all you'd get is this static white noise. And that's what they give you for different things on my ears. I went for the high price stuff because I just went for technology.
Sure, yeah.
Might as well get good quality.
Yeah. I remember those days of static on the television. Basically, I would get up in the morning on Saturday morning. The local ABC affiliate would come on the air. I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was 6:30. And I would be up and awake, and I would be actually sitting there waiting. And then they'd play the national anthem, and then they'd go into the day's programming, which started off with cartoons. So, I would enjoy that.
With me, even when I went to school, of course, I took a bus. I was living out in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And when I went to school, and the school bus got there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To drive to school, and school started at 8. So you understand how far out I was. But anyway.
Yeah.
I turned on the TV set, and I would watch our TV's programming came on at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Of course, you got the first thing they do is the Farmer's Report, and then after the Farmer's Report, then they get in. I mean, I remember TV-wise technology, we're talking TV programs, technology. Mm-hmm. I remember the old Today's Show with Dave Garroway.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the first Today's Show that was on TV. I mean, that was really back when. But anyway, technology has changed, and it's changed a lot this year.
Oh, yeah. It definitely has.
It definitely has. And there's other things. Of course, I am the person that's legally blind. I have now LED lights in the house so that I can see a lot better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, LED lighting is something that is, I had a goal at the beginning of the year to convert all of the lights in my home to LED. I've got another week yet, but I think I'm going to fall short by about three bulbs that are just specialty items that I just can't find anything for. I should put in a call. I know someone in the LED industry. Yeah. Who knows? Well, maybe I'll succeed. You never know. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And this is Steve Keske.
And you're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. SITE ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. God is perfect. Yeah, but we're not all that great. So we kind of messed up calendars along the way. We forgot about the birth of a Messiah and all that, so we can't be perfectly sure about when, but roughly 2016 years ago, give or take, a baby was born into our world. What kind of world was this? By our standards, it was as far away from technology as we might be able to imagine. This baby lacked most of the technology that we really take for granted today. There was no ultrasound, and yet it was foretold by the angel Gabriel, even before Mary knew that she was pregnant, that she would have a bouncing baby boy. And there was no television or a cell phone back then, but Joseph got the message too. He had it in a dream, and they were called. They were called not by a telegram or any kind of newspaper or anything like that, but by old-fashioned word of mouth to go to their city, the little tiny town of Bethlehem, because Joseph was a descendant of David. There were 3 Bethlehems, by the way. This was the smallest of the Bethlehems, specifically David's Bethlehem. And they couldn't exactly hop onto Expedia or Priceline to get a hotel. So when they arrived, they had no reservations and no ways to call about town to find out about any other vacancies. They were stuck with whatever they could get. And they got no lights, no heating, and just a bunch of animals. There were no epidurals, no pain meds. And in a little town like this, there was no ambulance, no hospital. And, okay, so no traffic lights to run anyway. There were amazing lights in the sky over some shepherds that, you've heard this before, keeping watch over their flock by night. And angels appeared and bringing forth a marvelous sound rivaling our modern rock concerts, telling of good news and great joy. And a star, a beacon, lit up the night so well that 3 wise men from the east came from far away to see the foretold king that was to be born. Well, we don't know. I mean, historically, we've said 3 wise men because there's 3 gifts. There could have been more wise men, but it doesn't matter. This lack of technology did not hinder one of the most famous names to grace this earth. They called him Jesus, or Yeshua, which means God saves. In the book of Revelation, he is called King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and there are many other names as well. But here at Christmas time, I would ask of you one thing. Consider that if God could do that much with so little technology, consider putting down each of those things that would get in the way of your reading the story. Now, you may not be a Christian, and you may be Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, whatever, but consider of learning of this story that touches so many people so clearly, and then putting away that technology and spending this time, this Christmas, talking about this exciting story with your family gathered. That would be my request of you. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. May God bless you this Christmas. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.